Jess. Welcome to the Rochester Press Box from McGregors.
The Rochester Press Box is brought to you by McGregors Grill and Tap Room, now with 6 locations, including the newest at East and Alexander, featuring in-house catering for parties. McGregors, a beer lover's paradise. Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining us here in the Rochester Press Box from McGregors downtown East and Alexander. I'm Bill Pucko. Our panel this week, John DiTulio, Sports Director, WHTK.
Good to see you, buddy.
Sports Director at 13 WHAM News, Mike Catalana.
Good to be back.
And CEO of iCardiac, a contributor to BylineSports.com, and any number of things you want to get involved with, Alex Zapesochny. Thanks for rejoining us. Alrighty. Look, the big news over the past week was the Manti Te'o issue, the fake girlfriend hoax. In a larger sense, Alex, something like this, what do you make of it?
Well, I do think that it's probably a little bit more likely that in the way society is today that you're going to have situations where people fall in love with these voices and these images of people that they've never met before. But I actually think that there's a bigger societal thing at play which is worth noting. Over the last several decades, there's been a marked increase in narcissism among the youth. And a lot of that has to do with technology being able to have fans and followers and tweeting every detail of your life. And I think it causes people to look for these very heroic narratives. And I really believe that with Manti Te'o, he was fooled at the beginning, but he also liked being somebody who was a bit of a victim, somebody that was overcoming this great personal challenge. And I think he saw himself as part 3 of this great Notre Dame trilogy, where part 1 was George Gipp, win one for the Gipper. Part 2 was Rudy Rudiker being taken off the field, and he was a little bit of a combination of both, overcoming this big heartbreak, this great character, and that he was going to go in, maybe inspire people the way Tim Tebow inspires people, and he loved this, and he ate it up. But it's a sad tale, and I think that it's good that it was frankly exposed, because it's important to realize that a lot of these athletes, they could be doofuses, they could be fooled. Yeah, I mean, it's a tough one.
There's no doubt. I think I agree with Alex, what he was saying. He loved this. I mean, he's this girl's angel or messiah, so to speak, and he's dealing with the loss of his grandmother. But once he finds out that it's an issue, that it's a lie, why you wait 3 weeks to tell your coaches, I have no idea. Number 2, I think the kid's a little goofy, a little naive, product of maybe his upbringing. I don't know. But it's hard for a lot of us to grasp that a face of a university, this great linebacker, who could get any woman on campus, falls in love with a woman that he's never seen before, other than maybe a photo that we find out it's not even her. The kid's a little goofy. Would I like him on my team? I don't know. If he can run a pretty good 40 time and make tackles, I can forgive the kid, but he's a little wacky.
You know, Michael, I think what bothers me most about this is how quickly his own generation dismisses this whole scenario as being entirely plausible. Which to us, I mean, like, isn't.
To Alex's point, I think they think of it that way. And it's all now about, that's a big part of the personality. The Twitter followers, how many people respond, who liked what I said on Facebook. Look at the McCarron's girlfriend. In like 2 minutes, she went from sitting in the stands to, going to report at the Super Bowl, and she's got followers all over the place and everything. And that's the way we judge our value, at least at a certain age, is how people like them that way.
Right. I mean, to be fair, I don't think this is a typical scenario. I don't think the typical teenager or 20-something is having this happen to them. This guy reminded me a little bit. I saw Kingpin recently. This is the Amish bowler trying to get out into the world, and he's sheltered. And I think this was the unfortunate result.
From the football end of it, I think it'll go away at a certain point from that point. And I voted for the Heisman. I have a vote. I had him second. I never once, honestly, thought about his grandmother or his girlfriend in the vote. I thought he had a great year on a great team, but I thought he was second place in my vote, and I would probably do the exact same thing if I was doing it again.
Put him on The Bachelor, Billy. He's got no game. Where you got to go and get some game, put him on The Bachelor.
There's an agent in your future.
That's what I would do for the kid.
All righty, when we return, the New England Patriots lose, and we have sportsmanship issues.
Hi, I'm Emily, and you're watching the Rochester Press Box from McGregors.
Welcome back to the Rochester Press Box. Bill Pucko with you. Alex, Mike, John. Hey, the New England Patriots lost to the Baltimore Ravens in the AFC Championship game this past weekend, and Bill Belichick failed to show up for the big post-game interview. It blows up. Sportsmanship issues, and it seems like it happens every time this team loses. Why do we care, Mike?
I think we care because people want to see them squirm a little bit. I really do believe you want to see Belichick. We're so dying to see him be humbled, and I don't mean it that he's out bragging and all, but he's just, he cannot give in at all. And I think he stands up at the podium and he controls the whole thing and just dismisses the reporters. I think we wanted to see him stand there next to Tasker, even if he would say nothing, and just make him squirm a little bit. It would make people feel better because they've been up here for so long, and I think that's why they care.
I know Bud Grant say, show me a good loser and I'll show you a loser. But I think he owed the Ravens in the interview with Steve Tasker. He got outcoached, his team got outplayed.
Yep.
You sit there and you answer the questions from Steve Tasker, whether it's 2 or 3 questions. He owed it to John Harbaugh and the Baltimore Ravens to take those questions, and he owed it to his owner, Robert Kraft. He owed it to those people.
Is the other thing more than, right, that it's the business that you're representing out there, Alex. I mean, he's the face
right,
of it.
and CBS is paying, actually next year it's $1 billion to put out these games, so yeah, there's something to that.
I think, was sitting with Kraft in his box during the game, so you got the CBS guy.
Sure. No, of course, in terms of why we care, I think it's exactly what Mike is saying. We like to see the cutaways at the Oscars, right, of the people who didn't win. We like to see what the reaction is because it's drama and it's fun. I do think this is somewhat overplayed, though. The thing is, I think there's a true correlation between people who are sore losers and people who lose often. And I think most of us would be happy to have him maybe coaching the Bills, to coach whatever team we have. It's not the worst thing in the world to be a bad loser. It's not the worst thing in the world not to talk to Steve Tasker. I think it's okay. Maybe he's not going to be the greatest human being of all time because he has this shortcoming, but as a coach, he's really quite good, and I think he's more in the Vince Lombardi mold than most who are coaching these days.
The thing is, I heard Brian Billick, who I'm so down on anyhow,
he's terrible.
Going off and saying, this is the way Belichick is. You're making too much of it. Let it go. I agree with that. It's the way he is. In the same way, if he's going to be that way, everybody's entitled to rip him and rip away. He doesn't have to do it, but he puts himself out there to be exposed.
Why does he get the pass? Why
loser.
do coaches who lose, like teams he's beaten in the AFC Championship game, like Norv Turner or Bill Cowher, all the other coaches that he's hammered in the playoffs, why do we give Bill Belichick a pass?
I don't think we give him a pass, though. I don't think we give him a pass. I'm saying is he does it. He exposes himself as a sore loser. He deserves all the criticism he gets for that.
And he doesn't care.
He doesn't care. That's fine. He doesn't care.
And he's consistent.
He's consistent.
But Alex, if you're his boss, do you have a conversation and say,
I think
Bill?
Probably, because maybe that's the one person that can speak to him that he'll listen to. But again, I don't think it's really the worst thing in the world. I think it would be bad if when he won, he was somebody that was very celebratory and kind of put it into other people's faces. He doesn't do that. He is just a grouch, but he's a generally grouch that wins. And I think we have to.
He doesn't like
that.
the fact he's 7-7.
Yep.
Him and Brady in the last 14
and it's been
playoff
years,
games.
8 years since that's
04.
a long
And Kraft's
time.
got a conversation with him now. He hadn't won a championship in a while.
been a long
for the
time.
Patriots, that's a big deal.
Yeah, Boston people will tell you it's now been the longest for the Patriots than any other team there. The Celtics, the Bruins, and the Red Sox have all won a title since the
We're
Patriots
all really
last won.
crying for Boston.
Just thought I'd bring that up. When we're back, we do a little like it or not.
Hi, I'm Alexa. You're watching the Rochester Press Box from McGregors.
Looking for lunch on Wednesdays? Come on down to McGregors at East and Alexander and take in our weekly recording from the Press Box. We'd love to see you. McGregors features the largest draft beer selection in the area at all of our 6 locations. Beer, sports, a great meal, and the Press Box on Wednesdays. Join us at McGregors. This portion of the Rochester Press Box is brought to you by Sticky Lips Barbecue, featuring the All-American Menu and the Atomic Bomb Challenge. Sticky Lips on Culver Road across from East High, and the Juke Joint on Jefferson. Welcome back to the Rochester Press Box here from McGregors Downtown. I'm Bill Pucko, Alex, Michael, John with me. This portion of the Rochester Press Box brought to you by Sticky Lips Barbecue, your banquet and fundraising headquarters. Like it or not, John, the Pro Bowl.
Oh gosh, this is they gotta do away with this. I would love to see it. Who cares? No, the players don't care. I don't care. Fans don't care. And when I found out C.J. Spiller's going to the Pro Bowl, How many Bills fans and us are nervous
That's
about him
exactly
getting
what I
hurt?
thought.
I don't
Exactly.
need to see C.J. Spiller. Come up with some sort of other wrinkle, skills competition. I don't care what it is. Just do away with the Pro Bowl. These guys are making millions of dollars. They're not going to go out there and give it any type of effort. Vote them into the Pro Bowl, but don't play the game. Do something else.
I agree. I like the skills competition, fan fest,
Yeah.
autographs, big thing. You could do it for charity, different things to have people there. The top players would show up. Nobody cares about the game, and I'm with you on that. Just would you like to see one of your guys get hurt? You know, and that would be the worst thing to get hurt in that game.
It's funny, the only tug I have for the game is I remember as a kid thinking it was so cool seeing all these guys playing with the helmets, the different helmets and
Right.
the same uniforms on the field at the same time. And this thing used to be a lot worse. It was a long time ago there was a third place game in the NFL. So we'd be prepping for a Falcons-Patriots game, and you go all the way back to that college all-star
Well, I got
game,
excited
which was
for it
tough.
because, being a Packer fan, they were never on TV back, and this is when I was 10, 12 years old. So to see your guys actually play, you got excited for it.
All right, like it or not, Alex got Tim Brown accusing Bill Callahan of sabotaging the Raiders' last Super Bowl appearance.
For the record, I don't like it. I actually think that Tim Brown is almost as delusional as Monte Teo. I think he's a worse sport than Bill Belichick. And it's just a ludicrous statement. If you go back and look, the premise of all this was that the Tampa Bay Bucks had a small defense. They were going to run on them. Well, it's not as though they didn't run during that Super Bowl. They ran, and they averaged 1.7 yards per carry. And by halftime, it was 20-3. So what were they to do? Were they to try to go to get this game closer by going 1.7 yards closer and running out the clock, or were they going to turn to Rich Gannon, who was leading? They led the league in passing offense. Okay, maybe he shouldn't have waited till 2 days beforehand to change the strategy, but it's ludicrous to think that that game would have gone any other way, or that Bill Callahan actually wanted to lose that game.
Yeah, I mean, there's a big difference between poor coaching and poor strategy and throwing the game. Tim Brown right now, to me, is the most clownish former Notre Dame football player going. He jumps ahead of Teo at the moment.
Wow.
I mean, right?
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, you're saying the guy threw the Super Bowl.
Exactly.
For what reason?
what?
Because he's buddies? I mean,
Doesn't
please.
this reek of maybe Al Davis? I could see Al Davis coming to him saying, listen, I don't want Charlie Garner or Zach Crockett running the ball. Let's air this thing out, baby. I can see that
I
happen,
can
right?
see, absolutely.
He changed it on Friday.
There could be a lot of screwy things, but Bill Callahan, in his one shot to win the Super Bowl, is not.
You got to remember,
throwing the
Roland
game.
Williams, who was on that team, did not play. He was their best blocking tight end. The Buccaneers, I think, were 5th against the run that year defensively. They had
Beat
very
the
good
Eagles in the
defense.
NFC Championship. I was there. Miserable.
After didn't Mitchell take the opening kickoff? all the way
Yes,
back,
Deuce
Mike?
Staley scored in the next
Yeah.
play. They still lost the game.
Plus, is sabotage necessarily on purpose?
Oh, yeah, and how about that? Tim Brown comes out and says he sabotaged it. Then in his next 2 interviews, I never used the word sabotage. Yes, you did.
That was the key word.
Well,
Please.
Like it or not, Michael, Jamarcus Russell comeback.
Don't like it. Didn't like him in college. He had a great game. Again, Notre Dame. He was terrible in the NFL. Didn't study. Did not work. I don't see him fitting in schemes. Let him try to come back, drop 100 pounds. He's got a big arm. There you go.
That's
what he's got.
320-pound quarterback in the league.
Maybe, I guess.
He's a
I don't know.
rich, fat guy.
Don't like
who
him.
just milked everything. He's out of the league right now, and that's where he belongs. Once he
Don't
comes
like
back,
it.
he's
If
a
you
tight end.
if you give him the benefit of the doubt, can you rediscover after it's been 3 years since he last played, was #1 draft pick,
Yeah.
made a lot of
Michael
money.
Vick.
Can you rediscover a love for the game? As he was accused of not liking the game enough to be good at it. Can
Michael
you find
Vick
that?
didn't work at it. I mean, that's what he did. There were different reasons that he was going. Came back after 3 years, had it for a brief period of time, and then kind of lost
Who's
it.
entrusting Jamarcus Russell? Hand over the keys to your franchise. He could come back as maybe a backup, maybe.
And who's trusted
Well, I
him
mean,
there?
is somebody gonna?
Maybe.
Is he gonna be in camp? Somebody gonna give him a contract and show up in camp?
I hope
I
it's
doubt
not
it.
Buffalo. I can tell you that.
You got all these young quarterbacks around the league. You're
Yep.
going to bring in Jamarcus Russell, really?
Yeah.
I don't think he has any shot. CFL may be his ticket.
Yeah.
Go up there and prove it for a year or two.
All right. When we come back, any unfinished business? We'll take care of that.
Hi, I'm Heather, and you're watching the Rochester Press Box from McGregors.
Welcome back to the Rochester Press Box here from McGregors downtown in the beautiful annex. The place has expanded over the past couple of months. It's beautiful. Come on down here for lunch. We shoot this program recorded at 12:30 on Wednesday afternoons. Time for unfinished business. John, what do you got for us?
I only wish our founding fathers would have adopted an amendment about sports gambling, allowing it, because this week the Department of Justice is now piggybacking with the NCAA and the 4 major sports that they're going to try to block Governor Christie of New Jersey in legalizing sports gambling, mean betting on games. Like, I can't place a bet tonight if I wanted to. Any one of us could place a bet. Why is it legal in Vegas and Oregon and Montana, but we can't get sports gambling legalized in every state? Number one, it's a moneymaker. Number two, it could be regulated. We love regulation in this country. Governor Christie wants to regulate it. We're talking millions, if not billions of dollars. The NFL is a monster today. One of the big reasons why? Gambling. It makes no sense why we can't legalize sports gambling. You got states legalizing marijuana. I can go out tonight and get an assault rifle, but I can't place a bet on the Super Bowl in downtown Rochester. I mean, what are we doing? It makes no sense. Why is it legal in Vegas? It's always crushed me why it's legal in 3 states, but it can't be legal in any state. And by the way, these players are making millions of dollars. So forget about scandals. You want to not bet on college games? I'm fine with that. But not to be able to bet on a professional sports game, to me, is ridiculous.
People can go online and
oh my God. You have the lottery. And I can go bet on horse racing. I can go play cards. But, oh boy, don't touch our sports, everybody.
We do love regulation.
Oh my gosh, it's unbelievable. I hope Governor Christie wins. I am rooting for Governor Christie in New Jersey.
Alex?
Gosh.
Okay. So
you
over
like
the
Governor Christie, right?
I do like Governor Christie, for the record. So over the last few weeks, and actually today on this show, we've had a lot of sports stories that maybe are ones that aren't the ones to be proud of. Monte Teo, Lance Armstrong, the Hall of Famers that weren't. And it was an interesting time for the passing of Stan Musial, who wasn't just one of the greatest baseball players, clearly up there with Willie Mays and Mickey Mantle and Ted Williams, but he was also an individual that even off the field, even long after his career was gone, the stories about how good of a human being he was, what a good role model he was, have come at a particularly good time. He was an individual who walked around with his harmonica playing for the fans because he was a little bit nervous speaking to them. He signed as many autographs as possible. A millionaire from Mexico once wanted to pay him 10 times the amount he was making for the Cardinals to leave the league and go. He wouldn't do that. And he was one of the individuals in sports that after 1947 and in the early 50s in the National League, as African Americans integrated into the major leagues, he was one of the individuals who never was accused, was never heard actually saying anything derogatory toward African American players. This was, in his death, I think this was a final lesson from Stan Musial that sports can be a great thing. It can be a place to find role models, and it's unfortunate we don't have any of that today, but thank you, Stan Musial, for one more lesson before you went.
Thank you, Alex.
I like Phil Mickelson. I think he's a great golfer, has been a good guy. People seem to like him. Is he perfect? No. But, I mean, in large part, he's been a pretty good guy. And, Phil, I'm with you a little bit. The taxes are too high.
Sure.
But come on. You cannot be complaining about your tax rate and why you have to leave California when you make, what, $60 million a year, whatever the number is now. It's unfair. It's too high of a percentage. I give you that. The general public doesn't want to hear it. It was bad form. It doesn't do you any good with your fans, with the people who even don't like you. They're going to find fault in it. Yes, it's too much money to pay. But if you got to get by on $35 million or $30 million or whatever it is for the year, I think most people would think you're doing okay. Move from California, you're right. Move to Florida, move to Monte Carlo. I don't care where you move to, but really, let's hold back on the, it's so unfair in California, I have to move because of this burden of taxes. Other people have bigger burdens than I think Phil Mickelson.
Should have joined Tiger and moved to Florida for taxes, and the guy we know well, Tom Golisano.
Right.
How about Gerard Depardieu? They could all go to Russia.
Yeah,
there's a big golf scene there.
Yeah. And the bulk of that money he makes, he doesn't make any money playing golf. He makes it all on endorsements.
Yeah. I'm going to piggyback a little something of what Alex was talking about with Stan Musial. I met Earl Weaver, who died on the same day that Stan did, at the age of 82, 2 times. It was one on his election to the Red Wings Hall of Fame, where he couldn't have been more gracious. Thank you, everybody, doing interviews, sitting down. He was everybody's friend. The first time was when he brought an Orioles team into Silver Stadium with all the guys, and they were struggling in the pennant race that year. And I remember stopping Earl and asking him for an interview, and it was like, I was clearly bothering him. So I asked him a question. He says, what's it going to take to get back into the, the American League pennant race? He says, well, I'll tell you what it'll take. And he proceeds to give me an answer that every third word is an F-bomb. I think, and he gets all done with us, and then he looks at me and says, there, can you use that? Well, you know what, Earl? We just used it. How's that for irony? Rest in peace at 82. That's my Earl Weaver story.
Nice.
Guys, thank you very much. Alex, Michael,
Billy.
John, appreciate it. You can, again, come down and watch the taping of this program, the Rochester Press Box from McGregors, every Wednesday at 12:30 in the afternoon. And we air on Sunday mornings at 11 o'clock, immediately following the Vision High School Sports Beat. Quality sports entertainment from Classic Wolf Media. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next week.